How's it going, everyone? Mufaria, welcome to Heliopolis Radio. Thank you all for tuning in. I hope you've all had a blessed week thus far and that you've managed to stay through with your intentions that you set for the week, whatever they may be. And so we're back again with a personal vlog series. And I know the general topic of discussion has been addiction, but I think what I'm talking about today may tie into it, and more specifically, it's kind of its own, I guess, topic of discussion. But it's basically called the power of the low point. The reason why I actually wanted to talk about it is, I guess, I don't know, just doing my random musings and not ramblings, but contemplations, like a philosopher. I fucking realized there's a lot of pressure to maintain a high, not just like a drug high, but the high that is ideal, seen as ideal in this society. The low point is always something that we typically try to avoid, and more importantly, we also try to avoid it when looking back at our own personal experiences. We always kind of go through the high times as a fuel, but we never actually draw power and essence from the low times. The low point is a very interesting place. I think it's the place where we try avoid being simply because it's not a convenience to the way our society functions. And more specifically, when you're an addict of any sort, you tend to experience more low points than anyone in regular organized society, not criticizing normal society or anything like that. But just because of the nature of what a low point is, it's typically one of those things we try just sweep under the rug, more specifically to feel like we're a regular member of society, or to try make it seem as if we can still fit in and we can still be part of the norm. And when I say we, I'm talking about in general. If you've ever experienced a low point, what you just want to get out. You just want to be out, and you want to be able to make it seem as if things are okay, and that you're still in control and on top of your shit. But the reality obviously is the opposite. And so the low point for me, I've realized, is the place of where we come to a deep truth. It's the truth that we all ignore, the low point, because it's in those points where we really figure out what the fuck's going on within us. The high point is great. Yes, it is great. And truly, it's not a bad thing. But what I've realized is the issue with the high point is that there's a certain amount of fear that comes with it. And that fear creates a form of escapism from delving into your own personal being. The high point is what sells, it's what looks good, it's what feels good, and it's what is comfortable. And for an addict, it's a paradise, it's a heaven, it's an escape from the hell that you're experiencing, right? And for any of you that have had issues with any type of addiction, you would know that when you see someone at a high point, you sometimes wish, and depending on how bad your state is, you sometimes wish to yourself, like, man, fuck, it'd be awesome to be at that high. Like, I wish I was there, and I wish I was this state of mind that this person is. And obviously the reality is that you're not. But because we haven't been taught to deeply really embrace the low point for what it is. And when I mean embracing your low points, I'm not saying you are intoxicated by them or you're addicted to being low and sad, and but then when those moments do arise, you don't quickly diminish the value that you can draw for them, particularly when dealing in addiction. I think in the low point is where you can finally have the most honest conversations with yourself without the stigma of whatever you're trying to portray to society. You don't need to be part of the perfect picture, and quite frankly, the universe is letting you know that you're on. So it's a double whammy on that one. But yeah, and I've just realized that it's only through embracing the low point truly to the best of our capability, without being trapped in it, that we can truly realize what is truly going on within us. And not only that, where our weaknesses are and where our strengths are, without comparing or contrasting ourselves to anyone else. It's just a place of honest contemplation, and it's a rare place that most people get to be. And I'm not saying that the low point is what you want. No, you don't. It's actually generally a fucking terrible experience, and it's difficult and everything. But I've seen that there have been many people who have utilized that, state or that, experience or that process that they're going through to really reevaluate themselves, their direction, and more importantly, to use that as kind of like, I guess you can say, manure for, whatever seed may germinate from it. There's also the sad truth that, you don't also make it through sometimes. The low point can be really the low point, and it can be the end point. And that's also the sad truth about it. And I think what differentiates the end point and the low point is, truth be told, is grace. And, you can think of it however you want: luck, fortune, God, favor. But it is those things. But more importantly, it's your awareness of, your ability to be aware at all points. The danger I've seen with the high point is you never want to come down, you never want to lose the hype. You never want to lose that feeling that you get when you're at the high point. And that's okay, because, our society is built that way. Our society portrays a high point way of life, things working, things functioning, things manifesting, things working in alignment. And those are beautiful points. And it's something that you can encourage you to shift from whatever position you are in your life to a better one. I think that's what the high point really represents. It's the possibility to shift. But I think there's very limited truth that you draw from the high point simply because you do not get to, explore the depths of your being, who you are fundamentally. And the danger of the low point, as a counter to that, is the indulgence of our pain and our suffering and our ability to be stuck in perpetual cycles of, whatever nonsense we're going through. And I don't mean it in a very insensitive way, but it is what it is. Our bullshit and our baggage is that. And so, I think in terms of journeying through addiction, I think the greatest thing that it presents is the opportunity of exploring ourselves within the low point, truly being able to really focus on what is going on internally, when the lights are off, no one's watching type thing. And, you tend to see this shit a lot in motivational speeches and videos and everything. And this is not that by anything, but it's really an honest way of actually harnessing, at least in my opinion, it's an honest way of harnessing your process to really get to evaluate yourself truly without the pressure of the external, without the hype, without the high. Ultimately, I think life is an accumulation of highs and lows, and I think most of our lives attest to that. But I think what makes our lives more successful, not even more successful, but more manageable and more, genuine in experiences when we take those low points to really redefine our understanding of who we are fundamentally. And so I'm not going to ramble on too long, but I think in summary is that there is power in our low points, and there's also power in our high points. Our society is tailor-made towards high points because I think there's so many fucking low points that, we have to make up something to, not make up something, but we always have to have something to strive towards, which is the beauty about a high point. It's a possibility, and it's a motivation, and it's a drive, and it's an inspiration. But the truth is, in order to achieve those high points, not that I'm saying, but in order to strive towards and have the capability to achieve those high points, it's the awareness that you draw from your low points that provide the stepping stones. And so let me know what you guys think in the comment section. This video will allow for it. Thankfully, I finally changed the settings. And what you think about the low point, and what has been your experience in them. And thank you all for tuning in, and have a blessed rest of the week and weekend, and stay safe. Thank you.